Cricket8 Team Talks. We're going to talk about RCB. And let's just start with the fact that Virat Kohli, it's important for him for his legacy to win a tournament, Rob. But it's also very important for him to do very well in this tournament because he wants to go to the World Cup right after it. His first innings was quite weird because he was 3 off 4 balls and Faf was doing all the work at the other end. Then there was a collapse and he didn't know what to do. What kind of Virat Kohli batting are we expecting in this tournament? Do you expect your favourite word to be used? Intent.
I do not. I think Virat Kohli wants to get a lot of runs in this tournament, and he's very capable of that, as we've seen from previous IPLs. However, if Virat Kohli gets a lot of runs, it doesn't mean that Bangalore win the tournament, and that's what's happened year in, year out. And there are a lot of people that think that RCB won't win the IPL until they stop spending 60% of their money on Virat and sign some other players. But yeah, I think Virat is going to get a lot of runs. He's had a rest, which he doesn't normally have, and he has a huge point to prove, which is getting into the side for the T20 World Cup. So I expect him to get lots of runs. I don't expect him to get them quick enough, and that is going to cost RCB in the long run. So today, 21 off 20, that doesn't win you games. And yeah, maybe he would have got 40 off 35, and that doesn't win you games either. So what do they do with Virat? The answer is going to be they let him bat as long as he wants. And probably to their detriment, but I may get murdered by many Indians for saying that.
You heard it here directly, in case you didn't get this. It's R-O-B. We did see some interesting things from them today. I thought Alzarri Joseph was an interesting purchase because they spent a lot of money on him, and it wasn't something that they had a massive weakness with, fast bowling. But they clearly saw something, and you noticed this, that with him and Cameron Green bowling together, they went very short. Now, this was a bigger ground than some other Indian wickets. It also had more pace in it for that first particular game. But you can see how we might be seeing Alzarri Joseph and Cameron Green go short a lot more in tandem together and let Siraj be Siraj at the other end.
Yeah, well, I think the addition of the 2 bouncers and over is going to play a bit of a part. Quite how, we don't necessarily know that just yet. But I did like, there was that period where we were talking about, you sort of said, what do you do here? Well, bring Cameron Green on. They had to do something. I said he needs to get at them. He needs to get it up around their head. They sense a bit of an issue with Dubé, with being able to play that. And then suddenly Alzarri Joseph got on the act, and they kind of did the same thing. For me, Joseph looked like he put the batsmen under in the most uncomfortable positions when it came to getting the ball high up above their heads. So it'd be interesting to see if that continues all the way throughout the tournament, because I think it will play a part. It's just a question of whether it's going to actually win them games or whether it's going to cost them more runs, and that's the thing that we don't quite know just yet. Historically, other than losing, Rob, RCB is known for kind of having either weak bowling or weak middle order, and sometimes a combination of both.
Yeah.
Not ideal. The middle order today saved them, right? Wright came in, not a particularly great IPL player, what he's done so far. Dinesh Karthik, we all respect the last couple of years that he's had, but he's not on the way up. But it did look slightly stronger today, that middle order, than we have seen at other times. We know that their top 4 is incredible, but they have to be able to get runs through Green, Riot, and Dinesh Karthik. And certainly today, it looked like they could handle that.
It did today. I'm not sure how long that will continue, but they both batted tremendously well. They soaked the pressure up, and then they properly banged at the end when they got balls that suited them when they were set. And anybody set can score big runs, and those two. Rawat was particularly surprising because I've not seen that from him before for at least 2 years. So yeah, it was great. And if you're RCB, you're like, well, that's a huge plus from us today. But whether that can continue for the tournament remains to be seen. And the fact that those two managed to shield the rest of their order, which is pretty terrible, for 7-8 overs was a really good effort.
I just wanted to ask you as well, the spin problems. This is a team that doesn't have great spinners. We saw today Khan Sharma bowled a couple of overs, got some wickets, and then didn't really go anywhere. They don't have a great spinner. They've got this a young kid at the other end, Degar, as well. It's going to be hard. I just find it very hard to see any IPL team winning with spin bowling of that quality, Rob.
Yeah, I don't think RCB are set up to win the IPL. They're not. As simple as that. They spend loads of money on, and they've always done it, and it's never worked, so they keep doing it again. And they had, let's not forget, they had Hasaranga, and they got rid of him to a rival of theirs for base price. And Hasaranga has been the top wicket taker of the last 2 World Cups. Like, he's all right, and he can bat.
And he can, yeah.
So who should we have instead? Nobody. It's like stop picking loads of overseas fast bowlers when you're only going to pick one of them. They've got Lockie and Topley, shining shoes or whatever they're doing now. Hasaranga is not allowed to play for RCB. He's unbelievably good at bowling spin. He gets mad wickets in tournaments. It's an utterly baffling decision. There was no reason to get rid of him, but they did. One positive today is Dagar, who bowled 2 overs for only 6 runs, looked fine at keeping runs down, but you don't win tournaments by keeping runs down with one guy for a couple of overs. You've got to take poles, and they don't have a spinner that can do that, other than Khan, who definitely can take wickets, only if he goes at 12 and over. So they haven't solved that problem, they made it worse. And they had Hasaranga, and they set fire to him, so well done RCB.
Stuart Mika, as the man who has the best record ever against Virat Kohli. The Virat Kohli...
Brief
I was going to say
record.
the Virat Kohli whisperer, but maybe that's the wrong term.
He is my bunny.
Again, that's ST. We've seen RCB every year. We now have one game with them as well. How do you feel? Is this a team that you look at and go, this is a realistic chance of winning the IPL, or do you think this is another middle of the road team?
I would probably say the latter. You need them to start off well. You need, like I said, almost what you would do with bowling. You've got your tail feathers up. You're coming at them. They didn't look like that. They were behind the 8 ball. I know that sort of the loss of the quick wickets in the middle overs, that kind of they were constantly having to play catch up, but it just didn't look like a side that should be going on to... I might eat my hat here, I might, on saying this, but I don't think they're necessary title contenders right now, not from what we've seen today. I do think, I agree with Rob, there was certainly a lack of a decent option. That Khan might be a good spin, a good wicket taker, but if he's going to go for so many runs, there's going to be times when you just can't afford to play him or can't afford to bowl him. Maxwell's not good enough with the ball just yet to be able to trust that he's going to be able to do a good job for the side or potentially win games with the ball. He's there for his batting, but he's not a good enough replacement for or good enough front runner to be a first choice pick as a spinner.
No, that's for sure. Thank you very much to Rob and to Stuart, and we will be back again with more of these previews as well when it comes to the IPL here on Cricket 8. So stay tuned, and we'll look at all the teams that you love and also the teams you don't like all that much.